All right, so there you go. Tom Lipton's Rod Bender. Got our fence here. Still a little snug there, but it looks good. Got my scale here and here. There you go. Hey YouTube, Jake Kilroy here, back in the shop working on little Tom Lipton Rod Bender. So in this episode, as you've seen, we get to where we basically have a functional copy of the now famous Tom Lipton Rod Bender. What did we have to do? Well, when we last left off, we were working on the, I guess, swing block or pivot block, and that part needed a little rework. Sometimes you're just not happy, you know, and I had cut the radius for the inner radius that rides up against the boss on the Crane Trekker using an 1.5" end mill in order to get to an 1.5" diameter, and I wasn't pleased with it. So we're going to redo that in the Bridgeport here with a boring head to get a better finish and more satisfactory work. So let's go to that right now.
All right, the first thing you're probably asking is, Kilroy, that didn't look like no boring head. You're right, that's an annular cutter. I got to get to a 1.5" diameter. This is a 1 7/16 diameter annular cutter. So we're going to rough out with this to get close, and then there's a secondary benefit to what we're doing later on down the road. Now that we've cut a known radius against the part, we can back away, mount the boring head, and mount our boring bar, advance back to the work, and then use that known radius to basically set a baseline on the boring head. So there we are. We've advanced the boring head back over the center line we used to cut with the annular cutter. We've set the boring head to match the annular cutter's diameter, so we have a nice reference baseline cutting a 1 7/16 diameter with the boring head that we can now use to move to our 1.5 inch diameter. With boring heads like this, with a boring bar and a piece of high-speed steel and variable geometries, it's difficult to get a baseline with the boring head sometimes, and this just helps a lot. Now that we've got the inner radius done, we have to do the outer radius, which is 2 1/4. And what we're going to do here is work to a scribe line on this part. So you're going to see me, I've set my radius, my finished radius already on the boring head. I'm going to come down and kiss the part just to verify that I'm cutting the radius that I want. I'm going to back off the part, and then I'm just going to start working my way on in.
So after all that boring head action, I took the block over to the bench vise and took the file to it and did some generous beveling because it's time for you know what. So we're going to drill and ream for 3/8 holes for dowel pins for the pivot block. Doing that in the Alls metal drill press.
Our YouTube, the Tom Lipton Rod Bender is complete. There may be a encore, if you call this the finale. I'm thinking about adding a depth stop, a length stop here for repeatable bend distance. So look for that in the future. It was a nice, interesting project. If anybody's thinking about building one and they have any questions, tips, I will tell you, here's a tip. When I welded this piece on right here, as short and as stiff as these pieces are, that thing bent. It tweaked. I had to put it back in the mill and take a skim cut out of the ID here with the boring head in order to get this thing to go together again, which said I am a rank beginner when it comes to TIG welding. I'm learning, but I was pretty surprised. But if you have any questions about building one of your own, feel free to hit me on my email. My email is at the end of the video, and I'll be glad to give you any tips or pointers that answer any questions, try to answer any questions that you might have. I'm going to be at the Good of the Land Festival coming up here October 26th And weekend after that, I will be at the Soule Steamworks Festival in Meridan, Mississippi, with Mr. Clark Easterling and Mr. Adam Booth. I also think both those guys are going to be at the Good of Land too. There'll be a bunch of people Good of Land. So anyway, look forward to seeing y'all there. Be safe in the shop, and I'll be back with you soon.